like I said, that moisture and temperature have a very significant effect on the course of this reaction. So basically, your hot and humid conditions will accelerate the setting of your polysulfide impression. And also very important is that water is released as a byproduct. This also would have a significant effect on your dimensional stability of your impression. So that we will discuss a little later, because water would be lost as well. So this is the basic reaction that is happening. Then coming to your condensation silicons. So the materials are supplied to you as your base paste and a low viscosity liquid or a catalyst paste. So there is a two-paste system or a putty system. The putty can be used as the tray material in conjunction with a low viscosity silicone. That is referred to your putty wash techniques. So these techniques I'll just discuss a little later. So your base paste would consist of alpha hydroxy terminated polydimethyl siloxane. The curing of this material involves a reaction of tri and tetra functional alkyl silicates in the presence of stannous octuate as a catalyst. So the material, what happens is it sets by cross-linking between these terminal groups of the silicon polymers and the alkyl silicates to form a three-dimensional network. And here, like in the last one, water was released. Here, ethyl alcohol is released as a byproduct. Now coming to the third one, that is your addition silicon. This material is often also called as polyvinyl siloxane or your PVS, or also sometimes as vinyl polysiloxane, that is your VPS impression material. So in case you get a note on PVS, VPS, just remember you have to write about your addition silicons. So in contrast to your condensation silicons, your addition silicon is based on the addition polymerization between the divinyl polysiloxanes and the polymethyl hydroxysiloxane with a platinum salt. Here your platinum salt will act as a catalyst. So the base paste would contain polymethyl hydroxysiloxane as well as divinyl polysiloxane. Your catalyst or accelerator paste contains divinyl polysiloxane and a platinum salt. So the platinum salt and the polymethyl hydroxysiloxane are separated before mixing. Both the pastes contain the fillers. There is no reaction byproducts here that are formed. However, what happens is the residual polymethyl hydroxysiloxane in the material can lead to secondary reaction with each other or with moisture to produce hydrogen gas. And technically, hydrogen gas is the reaction byproduct out here. That does not really affect your dimensional stability. So nonetheless, the hydrogen gas evolved can result in pinpoint voids once you pour the impression. So one of the disadvantages of your silicon impression materials, including your condensation ones, is their inherent hydrophobic nature. So you have to remember this. Even one more thing is that your latex gloves contain sulfur and they inhibit polymerization. Therefore, just before mixing, we have to remove our gloves and then we start mixing this material. Then coming to your polyethers. There are basically two types of your polyether impression materials. The first is based on the ring opening polymerization of the aziridine rings, which are at the end of your branched polyether molecules. The main chain is probably a copolymer of ethylene oxide and the tetrahydrofuran. So these things you have to just learn them up and just write a little about them, and they are not tough if you just understand what is basically happening. You just have to remember what is initiating what is the accelerator, what in the base phase reacts, and what in the catalyst phase is reacting. Then you just have to remember the byproducts that are forming and the specific characteristics of each of them. Just that much you have to learn and write in this. So basically during our UG we are not using these materials, right? So that is why it just becomes a little difficult for us to learn about them and remember them. But with time, when you start using them, you will just understand what they mean. So, you just have to try hard right now. So, the cross linking and the setting are promoted by an initiator and an aromatic sulfone ester, where R is an alkyl group. This produces cross linking by cationic polymerization via your amine N groups. So your material is supplied as two paste. The base paste contains the polyether polymers, colloidal silica as the filler, and plasticizers such as glycol, ether, or phthalates. The accelerator paste contains an alkyl aromatic sulfonate in addition to the filler and plasticizers. Then coming to your second type, like I said, they are also of two types. So the second type is based on your acid catalyzed condensation polymerization of your polyether prepolymers with your alkoxylane terminal groups. So the mechanism is just similar to that of condensation silicons. And here also low weight alcohols are produced as your byproduct. So this material is often also called a hybrid, since the ether linkages constitute the main component of the polymer chains. These materials behave very much like the first type of polyether impression materials. So coming to your rheological properties, which are very important for the accuracy of your impression materials. So when you put it inside the mouth, they are viscous paste, and when they set, they are viscoelastic solids. So your silicons are more fluid, easier to mix than polysulfides. They have a shorter setting time. Their flow is present for a shorter time. Then your polyethers viscosity can be reduced by using thinners. Then coming to your working and setting time. So polysulfides have the maximum, then your silicons, and then your polyethers. Then again, chilling your material, keeping it in the fridge basically, mixing on a cool slab, alternating your base paste and catalyst. This all would alter your working time. Then setting time and curing time is not the same for all. Here I have mentioned. Then coming to your dimensional stability. So your dimensional stability would depend on your polymerization shrinkage, loss of or your byproducts like water in polysulfides, alcohols, in condensation silicons. Then thermal contraction from oral temperature to room temperature happens. Then imbibition. Imbibition means when exposed to water, disinfectant, or high humidity environment over a long period of time, it absorbs the water. So that this thing you have to keep in mind, that you don't have to soak it in water for a very long period of time. You do not have to keep it immersed in a disinfectant for more than 10 minutes. So this all I would just discuss. Then coming to the order of dimensional stability. So your addition silicons have the maximum, then is your polyether, then polysulfides, then your condensation silicons. Like I told you earlier, here we can see that polyether impressions, if stored in water, slowly absorb water and change dimensions. So this thing you have to keep in mind with them. And like your addition silicons, they produce hydrogen. So they should be poured after 1 to 2 hours. And like I have quoted this from an article, they say that with addition silicons and polyether, cast should be poured at 24 hours. If a cast is poured at 24 hours and 1 week, it is as accurate as the one made within the first hour. So they say that not much of a difference is made. But what we basically do is we don't pour it immediately. We wait for at least 45 minutes to 60 minutes and then we pour a cast if we are using addition silicons as our impression material. And your condensation silicons and polysulfides, they should be poured within 30 minutes. And coming to your hardness, for your polysulfides and low, medium and high viscosity addition silicons, there is no significant change in hardness with time. And condensation silicons, addition silicons, putty and polyether, hardness increases with time. So low flexibility and high hardness. So if it is there more space for the impression material between the tray and teeth, polyether, low flexibility, problems in removal of the impression. So 4 mm rather than 2 mm thickness of the rubber between the tray and the teeth is recommended. So at least 4 mm of the material should be present between your tray and your impression surface. So this would help. Then your tear strength. Tear strength is a measure of the force needed to initiate and continue tearing of a specimen of unit thickness. So it indicates what? It indicates the ability of the material to withstand tearing in thin interproximal and subgingival areas. So your polysulfides have maximum, then your polyethers, then your silicons, then your hydrocolloids. The factors which affect your tear strength are the increase in consistency. It increases the tear strength. Addition of thinner, it will decrease your tear strength. Then rapid rate of force application increases your tear strength. That is why for these impressions we say you just need to take it out in one pull. That would help. Coming to your detail reproduction. So silicons and polyether register detail better than polysulfides. They are capable of reproducing detail more accurately than can be transferred to a stone cast. Coming to your wettability, assessed by measuring the advancing contact angle of water on the surface of the set impression material, the wettability is directly correlated to the ease of pouring high strength models. Then here, when we are discussing wettability, we have to know the hydrophilic materials. So hydrophilic is your addition silicons and polyethers. So they are best wettable. And your hydrophobic is your polysulfides, condensation silicons and your conventional addition silicons. They are your least wettable. So we have to increase our wettability. So what we can do here is we can use surfactants before making impression. We can use surfactants before pouring the cast and so on. Then your shelf life is basically approximately 2 years, and it also depends on manufacturer to manufacturer. It should be tightly um, kept in a tightly closed container and tubes in a cool environment. That is why we always keep it in the refrigerator in the departments. Then coming to your biological properties here, like we discussed, it has lead dioxide. So some people say that it has lead, so it could be toxic. So many studies were carried out, but the amount of lead present in it is, could cause least harm. So it makes not much of a difference. Then coming to your condensation silicons, they are non-toxic. Although direct contact to the skin with the accelerators is to be avoided since allergic reactions have been noted. Then addition silicons causes less tissue reaction than your condensations. Then your polyether, the aromatic sulfonic acid esters can cause contact dermatitis and hypersensitivity reactions. And it shows your higher cell toxicity scores. Then common elastomers induced biocompatibility problems are, the main problem you will face with this is basically what happens, like we have done the crown preparation, we have done the tooth preparation, and then we are making the impression. Sometimes what happens is the particles, get lodged into the sulcus. Subgingivally they go, and then later on there would be inflammation, and we can misdiagnose, like if we have cemented the ground, we would say maybe cement particle has gone inside the gums, that is why there is inflammation, there is pain for the patient. So therefore what we need to do is, after we have removed the impression, we need to visually inspect the mouth, that particles are not stuck inside the gums. We have to check with a probe also near your tooth preparation, because basically there it gets stuck. Then how do you have to make an impression? This is the interesting part. This you all will like. So basically, light body would be used with a syringe. And what we do with the light body is we place it directly on the hard and soft tissues. And heavy body, heavy is heavy. So what we do is it is placed on the tray. And what it does is it supports your light body material. Then putty exhibits least significant polymerization shrinkage. So coming to the mixing techniques. So it can be in a multiple mix, in a monophase mix, and a putty wash technique. So these are also asked in short notes sometimes. So coming to your multiple mix technique. So I would just show you with the pictures. So what you can see here is basically a heavy body material is used on the tray, and around your tooth surface you will use a light body material from your syringe, and then you will put this tray on top and you will make an impression like you see here, and then this is your final result. So this is your multiple mix, you're using two types. Then coming to your monophase or a single viscosity technique. So only one material would be used here, and the same material you will use on the tray, the same material you will use around the tooth. So just literally you put around the tooth and rest on the tray, and then you seat the tray and then make an impression. The other is your putty wash technique. So basically what happens is, first you make an impression, and then this impression which you achieve acts as a tray, and then in this tray you load the other material completely. You have to coat the whole tray, you have to put this material on the tooth surface also, and then you again make an impression. So this would be the best, right? Then coming to removing of the impression. So basically for these materials you have to remove it with a quick snap, like I said, in one motion you have to just remove it. This increases your tear resistance also, and it minimizes your plastic deformation. It would take about 10 minutes, I would say, for the, you know, after you mix and seat. And how do you check it? So basically what we do is we could use the mouth mirror, or we could use the tweezers backside, and then we just have to, poke it a little, and we have to see the reflex. If the material is bouncing back, so that means it has set, and then we can remove it. If in case we have poked it and it is not coming back, there is no rebound, then it is not set. You need to leave it a little. So this is a clinical tip I'm giving you. Then coming to your disinfection. So for the disinfection, you can keep it in 2% glutaraldehyde. Longer immersion is not required. For more than 10 minutes, you never need to keep it, because it will leach it out. And otherwise, like your polyethers, if immersed in water, due to their hydrophilic nature, there would be imbibition. So you need to keep this in mind. Other things which you can use are your chlorine compounds, your iodophors, phenols, etc. for your disinfection. Then preparation of your stone casts and dyes, which is your sixth step. So we have come to the last step of our elastomeric impression materials. So it is compatible with all your gypsum products. It is possible to construct even 2 to 3 casts or dyes from one impression itself. I have already discussed for each of these when it is a better time for them to be poured. Then coming to your advantages and disadvantages. So advantages are many. They give excellent surface details. They are dimensional. Accuracy is good. No separator is required before pouring the cast. They record undercuts well. Polysulfides have good, of the best tear resistant amongst them. Addition silicons have excellent dimensional stability even in cold sterilizing solutions. Wide range of different viscosities are available to match different clinical situations. Low viscosity silicons are suitable for wash techniques. Putty silicons are useful as space filling materials, pleasant appearance and feel in the mouth. There is no, bad taste. They do not slip like your alginate, etc. They would not cause much gagging to the patient. So they help. They can be easily prepared for use. If they are tackle free, they do not affect the hardness of the stone or the surface. Now coming to the disadvantages. They are hydrophobic and so they tend to slip on wet mucus covered mucosa, prolonged setting time, especially for polysulfides. Tear resistance of silicons is low. So basically for each of them, they would be having a disadvantage as well. So just that. And of course, after setting, the borders cannot be adjusted, like the other materials. We can just heat them up and place them back and do some movements, and maybe, we can achieve what we wanted. We can correct our impressions a little. But here, it cannot be corrected after it's just set and you have taken it out. Also, it takes, a larger amount of time to set. So, a little difficult in that sense.